Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show where we take these big stacks of sources, philosophy, history, science stuff, and really try to boil them down to the essential knowledge you need.
That's the goal.
And today we're attempting something pretty ambitious, unlocking what our sources describe as an ancient riddle. It's supposed to be this piece of, well, life-changing, almost magical knowledge.
Apparently hidden in plain sight in sacred texts for, what, over 2,000 years?
Exactly. And the promise attached to it is just huge.
Right.
Once you apply it, it's guaranteed, supposedly, to transform everything, your whole life. Doesn't matter how bad things seem right now.
It's a massive claim. And we've dug into the material detailing this specific knowledge.
Yeah.
It's laid out as a very practical 28-day program designed to overhaul your health, your wealth, relationship success, the whole package.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to walk through the mechanics of this system and crucially understand the single word that the sources claim solves this ancient mystery.
And they don't keep us waiting on that word, which is good. The riddle itself, it comes from a passage in the Gospel of Matthew. It's one that's frankly confused a lot of people for a long time.
Oh, definitely. It reads, "Whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken from him."
Yeah, and if you just read that literally, it sounds, well, pretty unfair, right? Like the rich just keep getting richer and the poor lose even the little they have.
It's baffled theologians, readers, everyone for centuries. But the core revelation, the hinge point in all our source material today is that the entire meaning flips.
Completely.
It unlocks with just one single unspoken word. And that word is gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay, so let's try that. Let's plug it in and see how it sounds.
Right. The true meaning, according to these sources, becomes whoever has gratitude will be given more, and he or she will have an abundance.
Yeah.
Whoever does not have gratitude, even what he or she has, will be taken from him or her.
Wow. Okay, that changes everything. It shifts the whole basis. It's not about what you physically possess anymore.
Not at all.
It's about your state of mind, your state of being. The argument is, if you maintain that state of gratitude, abundance in all its forms, health, money, happiness, it's guaranteed to flow to you.
But the flip side.
The flip side is just as powerful. If you're ungrateful, if you lack that key ingredient, you're actually actively setting yourself up for loss.
You're triggering the mechanism.
Exactly. You'll lose what you have. It could be your health, your job, financial stability, good relationships. It makes the stakes incredibly high right from the start.
It really does. So, okay, let's dig into the foundation for this. So if gratitude really holds this kind of, immense power, it can't just be some modern self-help idea.
No, the sources are very clear on that. They argue it's like a golden thread woven through all of human history.
A golden thread. I like that. So let's unpack some of that historical and religious evidence they present. Is gratitude really treated as this fundamental universal law?
The claim is yes. And the breadth of consensus they point to is, well, pretty remarkable when you lay it all out. We're talking practices dating back thousands of years.
Wow.
Showing that the power of gratitude was central to essentially every major civilization. It's placed right at the core of the big world religions. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Hinduism.
All of them.
All of them. They argue this isn't just a coincidence. It's treated as foundational knowledge, universal truth, that somehow got obscured or maybe downplayed over time.
Okay, give us some specific examples. How serious was this practice?
Well, take the Quran, for instance. The promise cited is incredibly direct, absolute. If you are grateful, I will give you more. Simple as that.
But there's a catch.
There is. It's immediately followed by a really stark warning.
Sure.
But if you are ungrateful, verily my punishment is indeed severe.
Severe punishment. That sounds pretty heavy.
It does. And the sources interpret that punishment not as, some external deity zapping you, but as the natural consequence of the negative frequency you're emitting. It ties back to the law of attraction, which we'll definitely get into.
Okay, that makes sense in this framework. What about other figures?
Well, look at Jesus. The sources highlight that he is cited as saying thank you before performing each miracle.
Before, not after.
Before, which totally reframes the whole idea of a miracle, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests the gratitude wasn't the happy result of the miracle.
It was the prerequisite. Yeah. The activation energy, the thing that made the impossible possible.
Okay, that turns gratitude from just being polite into something proactive. An essential ingredient.
Precisely. It's not just a reactive nice to have. And this isn't limited to organized religion either. The sources show gratitude is central to countless indigenous traditions all over the globe.
Like who?
We're talking Australian Aborigines with their daily thanks for the land, the African Maasai and Zulu traditions. Across the Americas, the Navajo, Shawnee, Cherokee, Tahitians, it's genuinely a global pattern.
Suggesting this knowledge or practice might predate even our modern ideas of civilization.
That's the implication. And then, if you shift from those ancient traditions to historical figures we know, figures whose impact really changed the world, the pattern holds.
Who are we talking about?
Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Dickens, Plato, they're all cited as practitioners in some way.
That's a pretty diverse list.
It is.
Yeah.
But maybe the most compelling figure, especially for, a more scientifically minded audience, is Albert Einstein.
Einstein. Okay, how does he fit in?
Well, Einstein is kind of the perfect bridge here between what might seem like a spiritual practice and tangible, measurable scientific achievement.
Right.
The source material is really emphatic about this. It states that Einstein, the man who fundamentally reshaped our understanding of space, time, the universe, thanked people over 100 times every single day for their work.
100 times a day.
100 times.
That's not just casual politeness. That's a massive amount of deliberate, intentional gratitude.
Exactly. It was integrated into his daily life as a serious practice. And the source poses this question rhetorically. Was it really a surprise that so many of life's mysteries were revealed to Albert Einstein?
Could that constant state of high-level gratitude have acted like a magnet, attracting insights, discoveries?
That's precisely what the source material suggests. It draws a direct link between the sheer magnitude of his gratitude practice and the magnitude of his success, his ability to unlock those huge scientific mysteries.
So his life becomes proof that this isn't just passive reflection, it's active creation.
Yes. And that leads us directly into the main framework the sources use to justify all this. Gratitude as a scientific law, specifically through the law of attraction.
Okay, the law of attraction, LOA. Let's unpack that claim because we need to go beyond just the buzzword. How is it defined here?
It's defined as a fundamental law governing everything in the universe, from the tiniest atom to the movement of planets. And the principle is simple. Like attracts like.
Okay, like attracts like. That makes sense for physical things, maybe. But how does that apply to something intangible, like our thoughts?
That's the core leap. The claim is that your thoughts and your feelings aren't just, electrical signals in your brain. They are actual energy.
Energy. Meaning they have a frequency, a magnetism.
Exactly. You're magnetic and they possess a frequency. So if you're constantly putting out negative thought energy, I hate my job, I never have enough money, my life is a mess. The law of attraction, being impartial, requires that you attract more experiences that resonate with that specific negative frequency.
So your negative thoughts literally act like a magnet, pulling more bad stuff towards you.
That's the idea. And the reverse, crucially, is where gratitude fits in. If you think, I love my job, or I feel amazing today, and this is key, you manage to inject real, sincere gratitude into that thought, well, the LOA must bring you more experiences that match that positive frequency.
The feeling of gratitude becomes the magnetic force itself.
It's the engine, yes. And the text doesn't just stop with LOA. It tries to ground this even further, connecting it to classical physics, specifically Newton's third law of motion.
Every action always has an opposite and equal reaction. Okay, how does that fit with gratitude? This is where it gets kind of mind-bending.
It is. It's merging metaphysics with physics. But the argument is actually quite elegant in its way.
Okay, lay it out.
In this framework, the action is the deliberate act of giving thanks, your gratitude. According to Newton's law, this action must cause an opposite reaction, and that reaction is receiving.
Action, giving thanks, reaction, receiving. Okay.
But here's the critical part. The amount you receive. Newton's law says the reaction is always equal to the action.
The amount you receive is equal to the amount of gratitude you give.
Precisely. But not just the amount in terms of frequency, like Einstein's 100 times a day, but the depth, the sincerity, the feeling behind the gratitude.
Ah, okay. So the universality of the law guarantees a reaction, but the intensity of my feeling dictates the size of that reaction.
Exactly. If you mumble a quick, shallow thank you without really meaning it, the universe or the law provides a shallow, minimal return.
But if I pour intense, heartfelt emotion, real deep appreciation into my gratitude,
then the return, the receiving, must be equally immense and powerful. Gratitude becomes the conscious, intentional action you take to guarantee the reaction of receiving. You're putting universal law to work for you.
And the power switch is how much genuine feeling, how much love and appreciation I can generate.
Yes. It's physics applied to consciousness, according to these sources. Hashtag tag 2, the magic formula in personal transformation.
Okay, so if these underlying laws are presented as guaranteed, like physics, then the next logical step is, how do we actually use this? What's the practical method? The sources call it the magic formula.
Right, the how-to. It's distilled down into 3 very specific intentional steps. And they all revolve around cranking up that... You have to deliberately think and, ideally, say the magic words. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is the starting point, the fundamental action.
Just saying thank you.
Okay, step 2. The more you deliberately think and say those words, the more gratitude you will naturally start to feel. The action itself cultivates the emotion. It builds momentum.
Okay, makes sense. Practice makes perfect, or in this case, practice makes feeling.
Kind of, yeah. And then step 3, the more gratitude you deliberately think and feel, the more abundance in whatever form you need. Health, money, better relationships you receive back from the universe via that law of attraction.
So it's a feedback loop. Say it, feel it, receive more, which makes it easier to feel more, and so on. It accelerates.
Exactly. It builds on itself. But it's crucial to understand it's not just about mechanically repeating the words. The source material hammers this point home. The goal is generating and sustaining the feeling.
Why is the feeling component so absolutely critical?
Because the feeling is the fuel. It's the power source. The force of your feeling of gratitude is what dramatically accelerates the manifestation, the magic in your life.
It goes back to Newton's law again. The magnitude of the reaction matches the magnitude of the action.
Precisely. Your sincerity, the depth of your feeling that's a force multiplier. That determines how fast things change and how big the results are. A shallow, mumbled thanks. Expect shallow results, powerful, deeply felt appreciation. Expect powerful results.
This really shifts it from just a nice idea to a daily practice requiring real effort. And the best illustration of this, I think, comes from the author's own story that's detailed in the sources.
Yes, her personal testimony is central.
Let's get into her before and after, because the transformation described is, frankly, pretty staggering. What was her life like before she supposedly discovered and applied this power?
It sounds like a pretty typical picture of modern struggle, actually. She describes being in constant debt, and it was getting worse. Just this pervasive, stressful hum underneath everything.
I think many people can relate to that.
Absolutely. Her work life felt stuck. Her personal relationships were described as swinging like a pendulum from fair to disastrous, often because she was just exhausted, no time, no energy.
Physically.
Physically, yeah. While not, like, terminally ill, she felt constantly worn out, always catching colds, low energy, just surviving paycheck to paycheck. You know the feeling you put out one fire and 2 more pop up?
A cycle of scarcity, negative momentum just building.
Exactly. It sounds like a really tough place to be.
Did the source pinpoint a specific rock bottom moment or something that made her finally commit to this 28-day program?
It seems the realization came from really studying these ancient texts and finally grasping the significance of that single word, gratitude, in that biblical passage. The sheer despair of constantly fighting problems seemed to have fueled her desperation to try something systematic.
So she starts the daily practices. What happened then? Did things change gradually?
According to her account, the changes started almost immediately, and they weren't small, incremental improvements. They were dramatic shifts.
Like what were these magical changes?
Absolute reversals, really. She talks about achieving her goal of becoming completely debt-free relatively quickly. And then, for the first time, finding herself with all the money she actually needed.
Wow.
And the problems that had plagued her relationship issues, work stagnation, those persistent health complaints, they apparently just disappeared.
Vanished.
Vanished.
Completely.
That's the claim. Her energy level soared. She writes about feeling better than she had in her 20s, and maybe most importantly, that constant background hum of stress and anxiety, gone, replaced by what she calls blissful happiness.
So gratitude, systematically practiced, fundamentally restructure her entire reality, according to her.
That's the testimony presented. It's powerful stuff. And it makes sense why the sources then make these incredibly broad claims, right?
Yeah, that it can lift someone from total poverty to prosperity, that it can save marriages, heal broken family ties, massively accelerate careers.
It follows logically from her experience, if you accept it. But we also need to look at the other side of the coin. the mechanism of loss. If this law works perfectly, how does being ungrateful actively screw up your life? They call it the ungratefulness trap.
The ungratefulness trap. Okay, how does that work? Is it just about complaining?
It's often more subtle than outright complaining. It's about taking things for granted.
Oh, okay.
When you're ungrateful, even passively, you just assume your good health will continue, or your partner will always be there, or your income is stable. You're taking those blessings for granted.
And the law of attraction interprets that lack of appreciation. How?
As a negative frequency, as a focus on lack, essentially. Because you're not appreciating what you do have. You're not sending out the positive energy of gratitude for it.
So, by taking my health for granted, I'm actually generating the negative energy that could attract losing my health.
That's exactly the argument. This unintentional act of taking things for granted stops the natural flow of more good things coming to you. It cuts you off from receiving better health, more joy, better financial opportunities, promotions at work.
It's the mechanism that fulfills that warning from Matthew. Even what he has will be taken from him if you don't have gratitude for it.
Precisely. You're subconsciously choosing lack by not consciously choosing gratitude for abundance. So to change that trajectory, the practice has to become constant, deeply ingrained, not just, saying thanks occasionally.
Right. Consistency and volume seem absolutely key here. Which brings us to the actual program, the 28-day journey. The sources really stress doing these practices consecutively, one after the other. Why?
The idea is to basically impregnate yourselves and subconscious mind with gratitude. That's the phrasing used. To make it an automatic, deeply embedded, permanent habit over those 4 weeks.
Impregnate yourselves. That's intense.
It is. It implies a deep biological subconscious shift. And the program is very systematic, broken down into 3 clear phases.
What are they?
Phase 1 covers the first 12 days. This is all about building immediate momentum. Focusing gratitude on what you already have right now and everything good you've received in your past, it shifts your core frequency right away.
Okay, foundation building, then.
Phase 2 runs from day 13 to 22. This is where you start applying gratitude proactively, using it as a magnetic force for your desires, your dreams. Basically using gratitude to make your wishes come true before they actually show up.
Manifesting, essentially.
That's the term, yes.
Yeah.
And finally, phase 3, days 23 to 28. This phase is about deep saturation, making sure the habit sticks in every cell. It also involves extending gratitude to help others and using it to dissolve persistent problems or negativity.
Okay, let's dive into some specific tools and practices. Many seem to use physical objects or anchors to help deepen the feeling. Day 1, the absolute foundation, is always count your blessings.
This is non-negotiable. The starting point. Every single morning, first thing, you have to physically write down a list of 10 distinct blessings in your life.
10 specific things.
Yes. And crucially, you need to write down why you're grateful for each one. Then you go back through the list, read each blessing, say the magic words, thank you, thank you, thank you for each one.
Out loud or silently.
Either. But the key is the next part.
Yeah.
You have to dedicate yourself to feeling the gratitude for that blessing as deeply and powerfully as you possibly can.
Feeling it. There's that emphasis again.
Always. The sources explicitly state that the intensity of the feeling you generate during this practice is the exact measure of how fast your life is going to change.
Wow. Okay, so the intensity gauge is critical. Then day 2 introduces something tangible, the magic rock.
The magic rock. It sounds a bit whimsical, but the intention behind it is powerful. You just find a small, smooth rock, something that fits comfortably in your hand.
Any rock.
Yeah, just one you like the feel of. You place it by your bedside. Then every single night, without fail, just before you sleep, you hold the rock. And you think back over your day and identify the single best thing that happened. Just one thing. And you hold the rock and give sincere, heartfelt thanks for that one best thing.
So the goal is to end the day anchored in gratitude.
Exactly. To ensure your very last thought before drifting off to sleep is one of gratitude. And often it's the first thing you see or feel when you wake up, prompting gratitude again.
And there's a powerful story connected to this rock practice in the sources, right?
Yes, a really moving one. It talks about a father whose child was critically ill, dying. He started using a gratitude rock. But instead of focusing on the fear, the pain, the potential loss.
Which would attract more of the same, according to the law.
Right. He held the rock each night and gave thanks for his son's health, as if the healing had already happened. He focused all his energy and gratitude on the desired outcome.
And the claim is?
The claim is this shift in focus, fueled by profound gratitude, led to a miraculous complete recovery for the child. It's presented as evidence of the rock's power as an anchor, especially in truly desperate situations.
Okay, moving into relationships. Days 3 and 15 tackle human connection. And there's a specific ratio mentioned that sounds incredibly demanding.
It is. It's presented as almost a mathematical formula for relationship health based on energetic balance. The research cited apparently found that for every one complaint you have about a person, partner, child, boss, friend, anyone,
Just one complaint.
you need 10 blessings,
Yeah.
10 specific points of gratitude about that person or the relationship, just for the relationship to flourish.
10 to 1. Are you serious?
10 to 1. That's the ratio given. If it drops below that, the claim is the relationship is inevitably heading for trouble. Deterioration, maybe ending in divorce or getting fired or estrangement.
Wow. Okay. So one negative thought packs 10 times the destructive punch of a positive one. Or rather, you need 10 positives to counteract one negative.
That's the level of power assigned to negative thought within this framework, yes. So the practice itself involves choosing, say, 3 important relationships. You get a photo of each person
A photo. Why?
to help focus the feeling, presumably. You look at the photo, and you list 5 specific things you're grateful for about that person, structured carefully. Thank you name for specific positive thing,
Examples?
like thank you, Sarah, for always making me laugh, or thank you, Dad, for teaching me how to fix things, or thank you, my boss, for giving me that opportunity last month. Very specific.
Okay. Next up is health. Day 4 and later, day 16. The source called health the most precious gift we have. How do we apply gratitude if we're, say, sick or just feeling run down?
It starts with appreciating the baseline gift of being alive. The practice involves writing out a powerful statement. The gift of health is keeping me alive. All caps in the source, emphasizing its importance.
Okay, write that down. Then what?
You carry that statement with you. Read it slowly, deliberately, 4 times throughout the day. Each time, really try to feel that profound gratitude for the life force itself, the health you do have, even if it's not perfect.
And if there's a specific problem, an illness, an injury.
Then the instruction is to visualize the specific body part, your lungs, your knee, whatever it is, in its ideal, perfect, fully healed state. See it working perfectly. And then give thanks for that perfect state as if you have already received it.
Again, gratitude beforehand, assuming the healing is done.
Yes, because focusing on the pain, the symptom, the complaint, according to the law of attraction, just attracts more of the same. Complaining about your body, your appearance, anything health-related, actively puts your health at risk by broadcasting that negative frequency.
So gratitude must be directed firmly towards the desired outcome, perfect health, as if it's already here.
That's the method. Now, money. This is often the trickiest area for people, especially if they're struggling financially. Days 5, 9, and 17 lay out a sequence for magic money. Let's start with day 5, looking at the past.
How does looking at past money help with present lack?
Day 5 is designed to rewire your fundamental belief about money flow. To shift from I never have enough to money has actually always supported me. You have to actively recall memories from your childhood, specifically of things you received for free, things someone else's money paid for, food on the table, clothes, toys, your education, holidays, doctor visits.
Ah, things you likely took for granted as a kid.
Exactly. And the practice is to think about those things and give deep, heartfelt thanks for the money that provided them. Feel gratitude for the money that flowed to you indirectly, supporting your life back then.
Okay, building a foundation of past abundance. Then day 9 tackles a huge source of stress. Unpaid bills. How on earth do you feel grateful for a bill you can't pay?
This is where it feels really counterintuitive. The source views complaining about bills, worrying about them, as an active generator of more poverty. It's focusing on lack.
So what's the alternative?
You have to replace the negative energy of complaint with the positive energy of gratitude. The practice is simple, but potentially powerful. Get your unpaid bills. Across each one, physically write the words, "Thank you for the money."
Thank you for the money on a bill I haven't paid.
Yes. The idea is to feel gratitude for the money as if you already have it to pay the bill. Shifting focus from the problem, the debt, to the desired solution, the money arriving.
What about when you do pay a bill?
Then, as you pay it, you write, "Thank you paid," and you feel genuine gratitude that you had the money to cover it, reinforcing the flow of abundance and magnetizing more.
Okay. And day 17 introduces this magic check. This sounds fun.
It uses visualization and a tangible prop. You get a blank check. The source might even provide one, or you make one labeled the Gratitude Bank of the Universe.
Okay, I like the sound of that bank.
You fill it out to yourself. for a specific amount, for a specific thing you want to buy. A new laptop, tuition fees, a down payment, whatever.
Just fill in the check.
No, that's just the start. The absolutely crucial binding step is to visualize yourself using the money for that specific thing. You have to feel the excitement, the joy, the relief, the gratitude, as if you've already spent the money and received the item or experience.
So feel the feeling of the result the money brings.
Exactly, because money itself is just energy, a means to an end. Focusing on the feeling of the end goal achieved is what supposedly magnetizes the specific amount needed.
Got it. Let's touch on a couple of the advanced practices from the final phase, phase 3, meant for really deep saturation. Day 19, magic footsteps, inspired by Einstein.
Yes, remember his 100+ thanks a day. This is a way to replicate that high volume. It's a saturation technique.
How does it work?
You deliberately take 100 consecutive steps, maybe walking to work or just around your house. And with each single step, you mentally say and genuinely try to feel the words, thank you.
100 steps of gratitude.
Yes. It's designed to flood your being with that frequency, performed specifically with the intention of bringing success or a desired outcome towards you rapidly.
And day 20, heart magic. That sounds intense. What's that about?
This one is described as the ultimate accelerator for the feeling of gratitude. It involves consciously directing your focus, your attention, to the physical area around your heart.
Just focusing your mind there.
Yes. While focusing on your heart area, you mentally say and feel thank you. Repeat it. The claim is that this specific focus dramatically increases the depth and the power of the gratitude feeling.
How do you know if it's working?
The sources say you might experience actual physiological responses, like a tingling sensation in your body, goosebumps, maybe a sudden wave or rush of warmth or joy in your chest.
Wow.
When that happens, the claim is you've hit maximum gratitude output. Your feeling is incredibly powerful, and the abundance you receive back will match that intensity.
Okay, one last practice from the list. Day 26, magically transforming mistakes into blessings. This seems crucial for dealing with past baggage.
Absolutely, because mistakes and regrets can hold us in a really negative energy pattern. The core belief here is that every mistake, no matter how painful, contains a blessing in disguise, a lesson.
Easier said than done sometimes.
For sure. The practice is choose a mistake from your past that still carries some emotional sting for you, something you regret. Then you consciously, deliberately brainstorm and list at least 10 blessings that came out of that mistake. 10 good things that resulted, directly or indirectly, or 10 valuable lessons you learned because of it.
10 things, even from a really bad mistake.
That's the challenge. It forces you to reframe it, to extract the value. This process is supposed to neutralize the negative energy still attached to that memory, ensuring you stop attracting similar situations and finally break free from that pattern. #Shack4V, the science of attraction, love, and power, the metaphysical context.
All right, we've covered the history, the why, the how-to with the 28 days. Let's circle back to the underlying theory, the metaphysical framework, because the sources get really specific about the physics of the mind and why these practices are supposed to work on a cosmic level.
Yeah, we need to reinforce that core thesis again. Your thoughts are not just passive or internal. They are presented as active magnetic energy.
With a frequency.
Exactly. Like a radio tower broadcasting a signal.
Yeah.
And your mind, it's described explicitly as the most powerful transmission tower in the entire universe.
Okay, that's a big statement.
It is. And what you transmit, the frequency, determined by your dominant thoughts, and crucially your feelings, is what the universe receives. And the pictures you get back on your screen, that's your life circumstances, the events, the people, the situations.
You receive what you broadcast.
That's the model. And this framework directly explains what the source calls the don't want epidemic, which they see is the biggest single reason most people don't experience abundance.
The don't want epidemic. Explain that.
This is so crucial. The law of attraction, as presented, is completely impersonal, like gravity. It doesn't understand irony or sarcasm or negation. It doesn't process the word don't.
It doesn't hear don't.
No, it operates on inclusion, not exclusion. So when you focus your thoughts and energy on what you don't want, maybe you're thinking, I don't want to be late, or I really don't want to get sick, or I don't want to argue with my partner.
The law ignores the don't.
It only hears the subject of your focus. Late, sick, argue. And because that's the frequency you're broadcasting, that's exactly what it has to attract more of into your experience.
Oh, man. So if I spend all day worrying, I don't want my bank account to be empty, I'm essentially broadcasting empty bank account. More emptiness, please.
That's precisely the mechanism described. The focus on the lack is the broadcast signal for more lack. You have to flip the subject entirely.
To the positive opposite.
Yes, to the desired outcome. I am so grateful for arriving perfectly on time. I am grateful for my vibrant health. I am grateful for harmonious communication with my partner. Focus only on what you do want.
There's an anecdote in the sources about this, right? Someone named Robert.
Yes. The story of Robert is used as a powerful example. He was apparently experiencing constant harassment, negative situations related to his identity. Things just kept happening.
Because he was focused on.
He was focused entirely on the fear, on what he didn't want to happen, what he wanted to avoid. He was broadcasting harassment, negativity, fear.
So how did it change?
Once he understood this principle, apparently he made a conscious shift. He stopped focusing on the fear, on the don't wants. He deliberately started focusing only on what he did want. Peace, acceptance, positive interactions, good relationships.
And the result.
According to the story, his entire reality transformed. The people causing the problems literally moved away or quit their jobs. The negative encounters stopped. The hecklers vanished. His new positive focus became his dominant broadcast frequency, and the universe had no choice but to deliver a new set of pictures matching that new signal.
It sounds simple, but clearly requires immense mental discipline.
It does. But the sources also mention something helpful built into this system: the time delay.
A delay between thought and manifestation. Why is that a good thing?
Well, imagine if every single fleeting thought we had, especially the negative, critical, or fearful ones, manifested instantly.
Chaos. Total chaos.
Exactly. It would be unlivable. So the time delay acts as a buffer, a cosmic grace period.
Giving us a chance
To reassess, to notice a negative thought pattern and consciously change it. You can literally erase or override a previous negative thought transmission by immediately flooding the airwaves, so to speak, with a new, positive, higher frequency thought. You can change your trajectory in real time.
Okay, that's somewhat reassuring. So we've got gratitude as the practice, law of attraction as the mechanism, but the source introduces one more overarching concept, right? The ultimate power behind it all.
Yes. The final piece is presented as the force of love.
Love, how does that fit in?
Love, in this metaphysical context, isn't just a human emotion. It's described as the single ultimate positive force of life itself.
More powerful than, say, gravity.
Yes, the source explicitly says it's more powerful than gravity or electromagnetism. It's cited as the fundamental cause of everything good and positive that exists. Life, creation, invention, movement, joy, health, all stem from love, this positive force.
And if it disappeared?
The suggestion is stark. If the force of love ceased, all life, all positivity would simply halt, grind to a stop.
Wow. Okay, so how does that connect back to us, to the individual?
It comes down to choice. Again, you, the individual, have the inherent power to choose whether or not to align yourself with and channel this positive force of love.
How?
Every good thing currently in your life, the source argues, came about because you, consciously or unconsciously, were harnessing or allowing the flow of love's positive force. You felt good, you appreciated something, you acted from kindness.
And the bad stuff, the negativity.
Every negative thing, pain, suffering, lack, conflict, is attributed solely to a lack of love. Not an opposing evil force, but simply the absence of this primary positive frequency.
So lack of love is the root cause of all negativity on Earth, according to this view.
That's the unequivocal statement, which means if we want to change things, we have to consciously choose to tune into and amplify the love frequency.
And practically speaking, how do we do that? Beyond just feeling loving.
It circles right back to gratitude and also significantly to what you talk about.
What you say out loud.
Yes. The source stresses the absolute importance of actively talking about what you love. Sharing the good news, discussing the appointment that went well, focusing on the positive aspects of your life, talking about your dreams and desires as if they are real.
Why is talking about it so important?
Because your words carry that frequency out into the world. It's mandatory maintenance for keeping your vibration high. If you fall into the common trap of gossiping, complaining, focusing on problems, talking about what you don't love.
You're broadcasting negativity again.
Exactly. The source uses a striking analogy. You're like a parrot, caging yourself by constantly squawking about the things you don't love. That negative talk actively blocks the flow of good things coming to you.
So to live a great life, you have to break the bars of that cage.
By consciously choosing to give love through gratitude, appreciation, positive focus, and by talking only about what you love, what you want, what feels good. #outro.
Okay. This has been, well, a truly deep dive. We've traced this idea of gratitude from ancient texts through historical figures, connected it to concepts like the law of attraction and even Newton's laws, and looked at a very practical 28-day plan.
It really lays out a clear chain of connection. Gratitude is the action, the daily application you perform.
Right.
The law of attraction is presented as the impartial, universal mechanism that responds to that action based on the feeling behind it.
And the force of love.
Is the ultimate underlying power source fueling the entire system, the energy that makes it all work.
And the core message seems to be this knowledge, this power isn't hidden away. It's always available. The potential for abundance in all forms is infinite.
It is. And the implications, if you take these sources seriously, go way beyond just improving your personal life. The author finishes with a really grand vision.
A global vision.
Yes, suggesting a potential global shift. They call it the gratitude revolution.
The gratitude revolution. Okay, that's the final provocative thought the source leaves us with. And it definitely raises the stakes. What's the idea?
It suggests that if this practice, the intentional daily cultivation of gratitude, became, well, mandatory, if it were taught seriously in schools worldwide, if it were consistently embraced and practiced by world leaders, by governments,
what would happen?
the claim is staggering. It would advance human civilization through incredible accomplishments. It would dissolve disagreements and wars and completely eliminate poverty from the planet.
Eliminate poverty entirely, just through gratitude.
That's the assertion. Nations whose leaders and people are genuinely deeply grateful are guaranteed to thrive, to become prosperous, to see illness rates plummet, to experience widespread happiness and peace.
Because a truly grateful nation, operating at that high positive frequency,
Simply could not energetically allow suffering, war, or poverty to exist within its borders or its influence. It would be incompatible with their collective vibration.
it's a huge mandate, isn't it? For intentional thought applied on a global scale. Which brings us to the final question for you, the listener.
Yeah.
If this intentional practice of gratitude really holds the key, potentially, to solving not just our personal problems, but our biggest global crises, war, poverty, division, what single area, what one part of your own life or the wider world do you feel most compelled to apply this magic to first?
And, maybe more importantly, what responsibility does even knowing about this potential power now place upon you?
The knowledge, as presented today, is yours now. The choice, as always, of whether to wield this universal power or not, well, that's entirely up to you.
Indeed it is.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We certainly hope this has given you plenty to think about until we meet next time.